How important do you feel is finger strength when it comes to climbing hard?
I may get flamed for this. I really don't think it's that important. I guarantee there's going to be a lot of people listening to this who can hang a lot more weight than I can, pound for
Hmm.
pound. And like even it was like 2 years ago that I was even able to like hang the middle Beastmaker, like 20 millimeter edge, with one arm, And like I don't even think I can hang a 10 millimeter with one arm, no weight right now. I don't even know if I could do 15 millimeter no weight right now, just like
Hmm.
open hand. It's one of those things where like I see on Instagram like all these people like deadlifting like 300 pounds like off the middle edge, or like doing crazy like one arm hangs on this, and for me I'm like, wow, I can't do that. Like there's no way I could do that. Um, it's funny. I think my weakest link actually is my fingers. But it's just one of those things where like it doesn't really seem like there aren't really many climbs out. Like I can think of a couple climbs here where I'm like, yeah, I should probably actually hangboard and train my fingers before that. Like go through a month cycle and then it'll just be easier. But even still,
Hmm.
like some of those climbs that I thought that last year, I went back and like did in a session this year. It was like, oh wow, like, I'd never thought I'd be able to do this climb because it's like just the nastiest crimps. Like I thought I'd have to like specifically train for it, and turns out it's just wasn't that. It's
So what is
there's
it then? If it's not the finger strength, what is it that allows you to climb V16s, 15s, and 14s at an incredibly high uh, clip, where maybe your fingers are objectively the weakest part of your toolkit?
because I think everything else in my toolkit is really, really strong. And so part of the thing with like my Sen Colorado, there's a lot of climbers who like, oh, I don't like that climb. Like that's gonna be really hard for me. Like, oh, it's too reachy, And for a while, I was like, it's too reachy. Like that, that's a challenge. Like, oh yeah, we'll see about
Really?
that. And there's been like so many climbs here where I'm like, oh cool, I have the shortest ascent by like a few inches. Like even Daniel Woods, like, you know, he's got 6 inches of reach on me, and like that makes kind of a difference on some of these climbs. And I think having that, it's more the fact that like I won't just do V14 or V15 on like micro crimps. Like I'll do it on compression or underclings or like any style or combination of styles. I don't care. They all feel the same at this point. So I think that's the
Hmm.
the biggest thing where it's like I don't have to rely on my fingers to get myself up the wall. Like I can figure out something around it that'll work.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. I love that. It's very uncomfortable for a lot of people to um, push outside of their strengths, and what they would kind of quote unquote consider to be their style, or embrace their anti-style. In fact, I did an entire podcast with Karen Hurst on anti-style, and the benefits of that. And it is impressive how well rounded you are. Body tension was something that you brought up, and when we see the climbs that you're doing, and that even I'm trying to do. I mean, it's very scalable how important body tension is to keep those feet on the holds, whether you're on a moon board or you're climbing an overhung sport route at the red like I am, or these cutting edge boulders like you've been doing. Is there a way to work on body tension that you found to be helpful for you in your training or your climbing, uh, or do you kind of on theme just get that by doing the thing?
Both. I think like front levers all around are like one of the best exercises for core. Like ground core is like good if you want to get a burn and get a six pack, but something about like having your entire body like engaged when you're hanging there. Um, I mean, as a shorter climber, having that level of core where I need to like keep myself close into the wall to be able to reach footholds and stuff, like that's really important. And yeah, kind of I guess you're probably gonna see the theme of my climbing is like learn by doing. Um, like over time, you just get enough different moves under your belt, enough different types of moves under your belt, just helps. Like you can see stuff and like apply it to other climbs like without even realizing it. like, oh, I've done this kind of move before. I can do it.
Quick break here to talk about how we can get better as climbers if we have the right mentor. And did you know that you can have one of the best rock climbers in the world, Jordan Cannon, as your mentor? What? This is so cool, you guys. Jordan and Shared Air are offering a 4-month mentorship program starting on March 1st so that you can take your climbing to the next level. What's going on in this program? Well, it includes a masterclass, personal Zoom courses, 5 in-person clinics in Colorado, plus a private Slack channel. So you're going to have Jordan in your pocket 24/7. It is capped at just 30 climbers, so you can get all that personal attention from Jordan himself. And just for us strugglers, Jordan and Shared Air are offering a $300 discount on this incredibly unique program. Just pop over to sharedair.com, hit that link right down there to get started. Shared Air, where climbing lives.
Let's shift our sights towards nutrition now. And I'm curious, before we dive into kind of like what your deal is now, has there been a struggle for you in the nutrition area of your climbing life?
Uh, no. Um, Sorry, I was just kind of chuckling when you brought that up because that is one of the things that like I literally just don't really pay attention to. Like I don't follow a diet or anything. Like I barely even use supplements at this point. Like the only supplement I really use is like just protein and I guess a lot of caffeine. I think caffeine is like so good.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's great. Let's explore that. Sometimes, in these chapters, it's a whole thing. It's somebody who's been struggling with disordered eating, or obviously the pressures that can be put on competitive climbers are a little bit more acute than a big wall climber, for example. And so you never really know what you're getting into in the nutrition chapter here. But let's
yeah.
just go where you take it. Do you think about your weight at all? Do you track changes in your body composition? Like how do you look at just being in a strength to weight ratio sport? How do you look at that side, the nutrition, as well as just, what you're carrying around with regard to muscle or weight?
So like I was saying, when I like lifted a lot when I was younger, it's always been like pretty hard for me to put on muscle, all things considered. And when I was in like my heavy lifting phases, when more than half the time I'd spend training was in a weight room, like looking throwing up sets and stuff. Like I was eating so much just because it was like I need to fuel myself, like otherwise I'm going to get injured. And knock on wood, I've never been injured ever. Nothing
Wow.
that took more than 4 days to recover from, like just a minor tweak. And
Jeez.
I attribute that to like, properly fueling myself the entire time growing up. Like making sure to train all these antagonistic muscles where like my shoulders or whatever, like I spent so much time in the weight room just like building up all the structure around here that like I don't ever like get worried really that I'd get injured. I mean, freak stuff can happen, but for the most part, like I would just stuff my face with as much like protein and steaks and chicken and rice as I could, basically, and broccoli, just like your classic bodybuilder's diet. Um, and I don't do that anymore. Part of the reason I don't need the extra calories because I'm not lifting, but I go by feel for the most part. That's yeah, kind of like what I was saying, a common theme. I feel like I've been very in tune with my body basically, like the entire time I was growing up and into now. And so for the most part, it's like I eat when I get hungry. I eat when I feel like I should eat. Like I don't know. I don't track how much. I don't know how much I weigh. If I had to guess, I'm probably 135, but maybe I'm 130, maybe I'm 140. I don't really know. I feel strong, and that's all that matters. So